Folks, it's me, Denny Carter from Rotoworld and NBC Sports, coming at you for the Week 5 Fantasy Football Q&A, where you bring me your Qs and I give you A's, and then you leave. You shouldn't leave, actually. You should stay here. Please stay here. Just remember the ground rules here. If you get too cute, you get the boot. Again, too cute, you get the boot. So if you ask me a question that I consider, a little too cute or a lot too cute, you're out of here. I'm going to flag the mods, and the mods are going to get your butt out of here. There's nothing you can do about it. I'm mostly kidding, but some questions are a little too cute. Here's what I would suggest or ask. Use players' full names if you can, because sometimes you get a lot of like Wilsons or Johnsons or Williams, and I sort of have to guess as to whomst you're talking about, to use, of course, proper English. That's right. Look, Sam knows the rules of the game here. Excuse me while I adjust myself. I was not just running down the stairs after getting a little bit of coffee. Don't believe anyone who says that I was running late for this thing. Sam knows the rules. Don't be cute or you get the boot. All right. And that's a promise, brothers and sisters. Really, first of all, really interesting Thursday night situation. I want to say, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel, and you had the bravery, the will to do the right thing on Thursday Night Football and play Kendrick Bourne, good for you. Good for you. That took a lot of guts, and it paid off bigly. Okay. I almost did it in one of my more important leagues with a bunch of fantasy writers and analysts I respect a lot. League I won last year. Not to brag, but I did win it. I suck this year. It's awful. I'm actually the worst team in the league this year by far. Shout out to the Bengals. And I almost about 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes before kickoff on Thursday, I said, dang, man, you know who looks good? Kendrick Bourne looks freaking good. I was like, okay, Bourne, he works with Mac Jones, who obviously better than Brock Purdy, significantly. In New England, he was running the most routes of the wide receivers who were going to be active for this game against the Rams on Thursday. There was no avenue to him failing. I didn't know there was such upside, though. And I think he dropped 2 passes. It could have been better. Could have been better. And so if you slotted in Kendrick Bourne into your Week 5 lineup for Thursday night, good on you, man. I hope it pays off. I hope you win. You deserve to win. Honestly, you should petition, your local government if you do not win after putting Kendrick Bourne in your lineup. That's crazy. And if you played against Kendrick Bourne on Thursday night in a 12-team league, well, you are cursed. And honestly, there's nothing you can do from here. You're cursed. You did something really awful in a former life, sadly. So I guess it's not technically your fault, but it kind of is. I can't imagine waking up and being like, let me check my fantasy scores. Oh, Kendrick Bourne scored 28 fantasy points against me. I mean, it's enough to make you want to quit the game. You shouldn't quit the game, but it makes you want to. All right, we're gonna go through some nerdy stats here to talk about matchups. I do want to tell the folks to really listen to our Thursday Rotoworld football show with me, Kyle Dvorak, and Pat Doherty, because I feel like our Week 5 show, I feel like we did a particularly good job of breaking it down. Okay. We didn't get too caught up in like the minutia. We talked about a lot of borderline players. And honestly, with Week 5 being, a bye week apocalypse, when did this happen? When did this happen to our world? where week 5, you don't need a bye week in week 5. Nobody needs that. Anyway, so 4 teams are not playing. I apparently I roster everybody from those teams, so it's over for me. Maybe you do too, and we'll get to your questions in a second. I promise we'll get to your questions. Just let me talk for a minute. What was I saying? Oh, bye week apocalypse. So this is going to be a particularly tough week. You're going to feel good about playing bad players, is what I would say. All right, let's get to your questions. Matchups. Before your questions, sorry, we will get to your questions. This is the 5th time I've said that, but we will. I'll say it a 6th time. We'll get to your questions. Let's talk about real quick yards before contact per attempt on the season. This correlates pretty closely to rushing production, big runs. So last week, this really pointed us toward playing Ashton Jeanty. I know many of you were not really considering benching Ashton Jeanty, but if you were in a 10-team league last week and you had 3 or maybe 4 viable top 20 options at running back, I'm sure it crossed your mind. Can I just bench this rookie, Jeanty, and be done with it for this week? And I begged you no. I said, no, you may not, you cannot, because he's playing a Chicago Bears defense that's allowing a league-high rate of yards before contact. And what happened? He went ballistic. Why I didn't play him in DFS is an entirely different question. I've looked strongly into why I didn't, and I have no idea why. All right, so the Bears are giving up the highest rate of yards before contact. The Bills are second. What does that mean for week 5? I don't know. Because Gibson and Henderson and Stevenson are splitting up that New England backfield in a way that's almost like designed in a lab to drive us insane as fantasy managers, right? They're splitting up the routes, the targets, the rushing attempts, the goal line stuff, the short yardage work. I don't know what to make of it. I will say, if you drafted Travion Henderson, like I did in a couple important leagues, in like the 4th or 5th round, and with the bye weeks here and everything, for some reason, I think you're playing him. I think you are playing him this week against a really soft Bills rush defense. This is the week where, if he sees 8 or 10 touches, he could get there against this sort of bad run defense. The Giants are 3rd worst, give up the 3rd highest rate of yards before contact. I would say this is good for Alvin Kamara, but Alvin Kamara seems, as Kyle Dvorak would say, giga turbo washed. Just insanely washed to levels we've never seen, frankly. Kendre Miller, I think it opens up an avenue for him to see in neutral game script. Maybe I think it'll be neutral here, to see maybe 10 touches, maybe 12 touches in this one, carries I should say, because he's not seeing any pass game involvement. Kendre Miller against what is a pretty bad New York run defense. So consider him. The Titans are next. The Titans give up the 4th highest rate of yards before contact. Michael Carter came out, okay, on, I want to say, Thursday morning. And he said, look, I'm the starter. Deal with it. I mean, he basically declared himself the Arizona Cardinals starting running back as Trey Benson goes to injured reserve. That escalated really quickly, by the way. It was like Trey Benson banged his knee last week against the Seahawks, and he's out, and he might return this year. So anyway, Michael Carter declared himself the starter. Michael Carter, here's the thing about Michael Carter. He's good. The mainstream media won't tell you this. I'm telling you. Okay, the mom and pop shop, NBC Sports, they're allowing me to tell you that Michael Carter is actually quite good. You know who's not good? DeMarcado. Not good. Actually bad. I think DeMarcado is likely to get the passing game work. So, Michael Carter's not going to come in and get 20 plus touches here. But I think he can do some serious damage on 15 touches against, again, a Titans defense that gives up the 4th highest rate of rush yards before contact. The Colts give up the 5th highest rate of rush yards before contact. Again, it's Genty season, although they did lose Colston Miller, their best offensive lineman. That's a tough thing. Bengals are 6th here, so I could actually see the Lions going like crazy run heavy here. I know David Montgomery flopped last week. I told you he would. And he did. I hope you listened. He's not going to flop this week. He's actually going to go ballistic against the Bengals. You heard it here. Maybe not first, but you heard it here 4th. You heard it here at 4th to 6th is what I would say. Vikings are 7th here in rush yards before contact. So there's no way about, no if, ands, or buts about it. Quinshon Judkins is going to go ballistic. All right. The Browns give up the lowest rate of rush yards before contact per attempt. It's a horrible spot for Jordan Mason, although with the buys, you probably have no choice but to play him. The Bucks are 2nd best here. Really awful spot for Walker and Charbonnet. They're both going to be touchdown dependent. Patriots are 3rd best in rush yards before contact. James Cook. Okay, I want to say this about James Cook. All right, all summer we cried regression. Literally cried it out in the streets. We got in the streets. We said regression. He's gonna regress. And then he comes out and he scores a touchdown every 5th touch in the first month of the season, and that's frustrating for us regression truthers. The thing is, though, hear me out. Okay, here's my attempt to avoid accountability. I'm really good at that. Ask my wife, folks. That's not funny. Anyway, so the reason James Cook is getting away with it is A, he's good, unfortunately, and then B, he's seeing a much larger snap share and share of the team's carries than he was last year. So the assumption was his role wouldn't change all that much in the Bills' offense in 2025. It's changed pretty dramatically. And then you have Bills coaches, the offensive coordinator, coming out and saying, look, we want to have James Cook healthy for November and December. So I got to rethink this thing. Is he going to do that? It's hard to say. I would guess no. But I just want to point that out. The regression has not hit for James Cook because his role in the Bills offense has totally changed. And I'm not mad about it at all. You're saying I'm upset about it? I'm not upset that I didn't draft him anywhere and then I have to watch him, walk into the end zone twice a week. I'm not mad. You keep saying I'm mad. Not. I actually like it. I actually like not having an elite running back on my team like James Cook, who was very affordable per ADP. All right, let's get back to these, and then I'm going to answer your questions. But I hope that this does help you a little bit. The Jets are 4th best here, so not a great spot for Javonte, but whatever. And then the Raiders are giving up the 5th lowest yards before contact per attempt. So Jonathan Taylor, not the best matchup, but whatever. All right, let's get to your questions. Whew. Francisco's in the chat. Full PPR need 2 with Garrett Wilson, Cortland Sutton, Travis Etienne, Nico Collins. Ugh. Also start Jackson Dart or Kyler Murray. Jackson Dart had 10 rushes. 5 of them were designed, I believe, last week. The Giants are going to be super giga run heavy, and there's just no way around that. And it means that, nobody's going to get there for the Giants pass catchers. Totally over for them. Totally over. So I would struggle to bench Dart, especially against the Saints. Saints defense stinks. I want to say about the Saints real quick. Spencer Rattler, per the spreadsheets, is looking pretty good. And you know what? My podcast co-host Rotopet, he bucks at this and he says, no, He says the spreadsheets are wrong. The computer is wrong. He threatened to call Sam Altman and get him involved in fixing the computers. And I said, you don't have to. Spencer Rattler is a top half starter in the league, man. I don't know. I mean, it just is what it is. Like Spencer Rattler, better than Trevor Lawrence. Spencer Rattler, better than Geno Smith. Like very clearly, better than CJ Stroud. Spencer Rattler did nothing wrong. And the best thing about doing this solo podcast, nobody can say anything. I can just say that, and nobody can interrupt me or cut off my mic. All right, I'd go Dart, and I would go. You got to play Garrett Wilson and ETN and Garrett Wilson is where I would go. All right, Zork is in the chat. We love our Zork, don't we, folks? Pick 2 wide receivers, half PPR. Io Maynor, the wide receiver 1 in Tennessee. Tucker, Slayton, Malik Washington. Please tell me CD and Evans come back soon. I mean, they will come back before the earth is swallowed by the sun, per the analytics. Pick 2 wide receivers. It's Io Maynor. And then, good grief. I think it's Malik Washington. Malik Washington could be a fun little PPR scam. All right. Person says, help. And I can't ignore someone who says, help. Help. My kid used to say that when he was old, when he was not older, when he was younger. Help, Dad. PPR, Tucker Kraft or Ty Warren. It's Warren. Rest of season. Yes. Still Warren. I mean, Tucker Kraft, like if he doesn't get there on his 4 targets, then it's just not going to happen. Like, okay, like he had one good game. That's awesome. And then everybody ran their victory laps and said, I told you to draft the next Kittle. And he might be. I mean, Tucker Kraft seems like a good player, but the nature of this Green Bay offense stinks. It's terrible for fantasy. Okay? It's not good. The targets are spread out. The air yards are spread out. We don't know anything about anything. Romeo Doubs totally gets away with it last week. Again, I'm not mad. I'm not upset. You're right. Are you upset? No. Do I look upset? This Packers offense is going to drive me insane. It's Ty Warren. Easy. And he gets like goal line touches now, like carries. Are you kidding me? This guy's like souped up Taysom Hill. He's like Taysom Hill, who's actually good. And I say this as a Taysom Hill truther. Taysom Hill, never good. Obviously never good. Great for fantasy. And I know that drives people insane when there's that split there, like not good, but good for fantasy. People are, well, I'm not playing him. He's not good at football. Whatever. It's a game within a game. Live a little is what I would say to those people. Which one should I trade with Jameson Williams for a running back? I mean, yeah, trade Tucker Kraft. See if somebody is willing to take that on. Lanny Horn, once again in the chat. Thanks, Doc. I play a doctor on the Fantasy Football Happy Hour with Matthew Berry and the boys. Flex and a quarterback. Dowdle, who will be the starter for the Panthers with Chuba Hubbard out. Whew, okay, this is a long one. This is 350 word question. Dowdle, DeMercado, Shakir, Io Maynor, Harvey, Daniel Dimes, May. I'd go with May over Dimes just a little bit. That Bills Patriots game should be fun. Of course, the Raiders Colts game could be fun for fantasy too. You never know. One flex out of Dowdle, DeMercado, Io Maynor, and Harvey. I think it has to be Shakir. Patriots are top 5, bottom 5, however you want to say, in completion rate over expected given up to slot receivers. I mentioned this on Thursday's Rotoworld football show. Check it out. The Patriots are being carved up by slot guys. So Shakir should be a good play. And again, a good fantasy environment as well. It's a good morrow, Sir Dennis of House Low T. That's funny. Wow, you leaned into the bit here. I doth require 2 carries of leather who receive 0.5 coins per snatch of hide. Sir Ken Walker, Sir Chase Brown, Sir Dowdle, Sir DeMercado, or Sir Stevenson. Man, that's a good one. Thank you for putting so much effort into that question. Now let me focus. Everybody shut up and let me focus. Okay, I think you're saying half PPR. Okay, you can't go Chase Brown. I think it has to be Walker in a horrible, horrible spot. And I guess Dowdle. Walker and Dowdle. Last night the Rams got cute and got the boot. Did they get cute? Oh no. No. You're talking about going for it instead of taking the field goal? No. The analytics never been wrong. They've never worked following the analytics, but we're still waiting for the first time analytics works. So the Rams follow the analytics. You do that at home. You go for the win in overtime at home. The thing they forgot, and this is common in the NFL, the thing they forgot to do, so they did the right thing, the right approach, right process. The thing they forgot to do was to run a play that could work. It happens. It happens. You make the right call. It's a gutsy call. You're going for it all. You're risking everything, but you have to call a play that can work, and that play literally can never work. Okay? The play was, if I remember correctly, Kyren Williams running against an 11-man front, running behind a wide receiver as his primary blocker. So Sean McVay got one part of the process correct. You go for it. But you have to actually call a play that can work. And that escapes a lot of NFL coaches. McVay's not the first. He won't be the last. It happens. AM says, happy Friday. Need a quarterback streamer this week. 6-point passing touchdown. Dart, Darnold, Geno, Bryce Young, Rattler. Well, I know I had nice things to say about Rattler, but he's not in this. Neither is Bryce Young. Neither is Geno, who unfortunately is washed. It's Darnold. I really like the game environment of Tampa, Seattle. The Bucks, as I wrote in my piece on Rotoworld.com, if you want to check it out, my matchup piece. The Bucks are a massive, extreme, pronounced pass funnel. And I think that Darnold is going to have some volume on his side, and Darnold happens to be cooking. Who the Vikings should have kept is Sam Darnold. The Vikings should look strongly into acquiring Sam Darnold, perhaps, for their quarterback woes, because they're stuck with a guy who's not NFL caliber and Carson Wentz. It's a tough spot. AM is back in the chat. Need one wide receiver streamer in non-PPR. Wandale, Slayton, Luke McCaffrey, Io Maynor, Trey Tucker, Rashid Shaheed, Downs. Okay, need one wide receiver. One. I mean, maybe it's Wandale. I know I just said that Giants pass catchers are cooked, but without Neighbors, he's got to get there, right? All right, Wandale. Nicholas is in the chat. Woody Marks or Charbonnet in my flex. Woody Marks, 17 carries to 14 carries for Chubb last week. He ran a few more routes, saw a couple more targets. Generally looks way, way, way better than Nick Chubb. You would think Houston will have game script on their side here against the Lamar-less Ravens, but they will make it close. The Texans, their guiding ethos is never win by more than you need to, and they operate accordingly. So I don't expect a blowout. In fact, I mean, the Texans could easily lose this game, but I'd actually go with Marks there over Charbonnet. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of mid-running back blues. Oh, God. Thank you for that incredibly thoughtful lyric. The Zoomers have no idea what's going on right now. Doctor, give me the news. I got a bad case of mid-running back blues. You like it. It's good. That should be on Apple iTunes. That should be on iTunes, honestly. I need 2.5 PPR. Woody Marks, JCM, Rashad White. Bucky is out, by the way. Bucky Irving's out. My life is over. Or Jordan Mason. I'd go with Rashad White. JCM's metrics are really good. I mean, like, excellent. And I don't really understand why he's not the lead back, but, who am I to say who should be the lead back, but a humble fantasy football analyst who knows more than most head coaches. I'd go with Marks and Rashad White. All right, Nate Ford is in the chat. Oh, there he is. There's Nate. Nathan Q. Ford IV. I'm going to use his full name. Start one flex and half PPR. DeMercado, Malik Washington, Fannin, and Tolbert. I would. I'm kind of out on DeMercado, honestly. Tolbert, 32% of the air yards last week, 6 targets, ran a route on 83% of Dak Prescott's dropbacks. I would lean Tolbert there. Fannin is interesting. I just want folks to know the matchup against the Vikings is good for Fannin. He's basically the slot receiver. The Vikings are so against slot guys. And Dylan Gabriel, look, he understands. I believe that Dylan and Gabriel will understand the mission here. And the mission is to take 3 steps back from center and throw the ball. And so what does that mean? That means a lot of short area targets. And that means the running backs, maybe even Judkins actually ran more routes than Jerome Ford last week. So it could be good for Judkins. It will be good for Fannin. It could be good for Njoku, although he's operating a little further downfield than Fannin. But don't dismiss Fannin here. I actually think that Dylan Gabriel is a big upgrade for him and Judy. My millennial king, Joe Flacco, wasn't getting it done. I'm afraid that whole thing has run its course. It was so fun. It was so fun making the Zoomers upset about Joe Flacco being good. But it's over. It's over, unfortunately. Darren is in the chat. Would you play Sean Tucker over Chase Brown or Bill? So I think Sean Tucker, with Bucky Irving out, again, my life is over. I think he's going to be super touchdown dependent. I don't think he's going to get a lot of run, honestly. I think Rashad White, but I would play him over Chase Brown. I would not play him over JCM. I just can't play Chase Brown right now. Help! Easy says help. PPR 2 running backs, 1 flex. Okay, I have to focus here. 2 running backs, 1 flex. Chase Brown, Kamara, Tootin, Charbonnet. Too cute to drop someone and pick up Kendre Miller or Sean Tucker. We don't do too cute here. You know that. And I'm glad you asked. Kamara is, oh my God, Kamara is so bad. Now that the Sean Payton industrial complex doesn't run the Saints for the first time in 25 years, the Saints, staff and coaches are like, why are we giving the ball to this guy? This guy stinks. Kamara was a Sean Payton creation, obviously. I would play Charbonnet and Chase Brown. Man, I can't believe you made me answer that. All right. My 0 RB profit. Oh, you're referring to me. 6-point touchdown league, Kyler or Dak for maximum boom potential. It's never Kyler. I mean, come on. Spencer Rattler better than Kyler Murray. Not even a question. Dak is playing out of his mind right now. Shout out to this guy. He loses CeeDee Lamb and he comes out and he says, I literally don't care. I don't care. I'm going to carve up a really good Packers defense. And he's gonna produce this week against the Jets. It's easily Dak. Michael says Judkins or Genty for Debo and Pacheco, or for bro. I don't know what you're talking about. Judkins or Genty for Debo and Pacheco, or Henry and Diggs. This is the most convoluted question I've ever seen. No, keep Judkins, keep Genty. Forget about Pacheco. Good grief. Forget about Henry. And I mean, Diggs is fine, whatever, but wow. No, you stay put. Nadine is in the chat. Waller over Fannin and Marks over Rashad White. Thanks, Doc. Salute. Doc, salute. That's what doctors do. My doctor salutes me when I come in. I don't get it. But if that's what they do, then that's what I'm going to do when I'm playing a doctor online. All right. Waller over Fannin and Marks over Rashad White. I actually go with Fannin over Waller. Someone on Reddit this week when I posted my regression files, and I was like, I don't think Waller's going to score 2 touchdowns every week, folks. And someone was like, yes, he will. I was just like, basically, yeah, no, he's going to score. He's going to score every week. Why wouldn't he? He should just simply score touchdowns every week. All right. Hey, yeah, that's fair. Analytics versus analytics. And I lost, I think. I would go with Fannin. If it's PPR, especially Fannin. And then Marks over Rashad White. That's a tough one. I kind of like Rashad White. Just based on a bunch of checkdowns. I think Baker's going to check down a lot here. I would lean White there. Oh, there's so many questions, guys. I'm so sorry. I'm not going to be able to get to them. I have 27 more minutes here. Patrick is in the chat. Fall is here. Robe season is almost upon us. I've never worn a robe. The haters say that my nice sweatshirt is a robe. Full PPR. Who do we want? Michael Carter or DeMercado? I honestly, I'm leaning Carter. I'm leaning Carter over DeMercado. Maybe it's my last name. Okay, take that with a grain of salt. Last name bias. They have a term for it in psychology. Full PPR. Judkins or Sutton? Not easy, but I actually would go Judkins. The whole offense is Judkins from here on out for the Browns. Saul says, should I trade away Jordan Mason for Keenan Allen? I lost Neighbors. My other wide receivers are Godwin, BTJ. Running backs are Bijan, Woody, and Henderson, and Bill. Should I trade Jordan Mason? Yeah, sure. Because Aaron Jones will be back eventually. I think that works. Sam, don't be cute or you get the boot. That's right. Nick says, hello, Dr. Carter. Need one for the flex. Chase Brown, J.K. Dobbins, DeMercado, or Lad McConkey. McConkey's down so bad. It's crazy. God. Need one? I'd actually go Dobbins. The Eagles run defense is not as good as you think it is. And Bucky Irving was gashing those guys last week before, of course, he hurt his foot or ankle and ruined my life. Thanks, Bucky. Dobbins not seeing a huge workload, and I'm a little afraid of RJ Harvey emerging eventually as a Dobbins person. But I would lean Dobbins. All right, Dr. Denny. Can you look powerfully into the metrics and tell me Baker or Daniel Dimesman? It's actually Daniel D. Dimes the fifth in Superflex spot. Oh, man. Okay, look. I wrote up Baker Mayfield in my regression files. I hope folks can check that out on rotoworld.com. I mean, look. He's week after week after week. He's getting away with it. He had the luckiest 77-yard touchdown to Emeka Egbuka last week. Bucks fans are probably furious with me. I'm sorry. It was just pure luck. I would go the Dimesman. So Danny Dimes, I mentioned on Thursday's Rotoworld Football Show, is a major passing touchdown regression candidate. 29th out of 33 qualifying quarterbacks in touchdown rate. It's going to happen. Hopefully his wide receivers Don't fumble it through the end zone every time they catch a would-be touchdown. Cobra is in the chat. Tyron Tracy is still worth an RR spot. Scatterboo plays hard, and it could be okay. All right, Dan is in the chat. Dan wants help with cope, and that's what primarily I'm here for, to help you cope with your horrible fantasy decisions. How did the Rams defense put up a nothing burger against the banged up 49ers? Should I just avoid Thursday night games? No, don't do that. I mean, it happens. Look. The tough guys got it wrong when they booted the kicker position out of fantasy. The tough guys should have booted team defense out of fantasy. That's the one you can't predict. That's the one that hinges on the most high variance, volatile, unpredictable plays. Fumble touchdowns, picks for touchdowns. Other things for kick return touchdowns. Like that garbage, okay? So you booted kicker because they're not tough enough. And you kept defense, which is just mostly just a crapshoot. There is a process for it, but whatever. For my argument right now, I'm going to pretend like there's not. You made the right call. Look, I would have started the Rams defense last night against the Niners. Mac Jones just happens to be way better than Brock Purdy. What can you do? There's nothing you can do. They paid the wrong guy in San Francisco. Purdy will come back and he'll play, but he won't be as good as Mac Jones, obviously. Matt is in the chat. Dr. Denny, can you? Oh, I already did that. Let's see. Sorry. Looking good, Dan Dog. Thank you. Rashad White or Alec Pierce. I feel good about Alec. I mean, we know, Alec Pierce averaging like something like 15 air yards per target. So we know what we're getting. He's going to catch 3 passes. If one of those is a long touchdown, that's cool. If it's not, then that's not cool. Then you're going to be tilting your brains out, and you're going to be mad at yourself for not starting Rashad White, who has a much safer floor. If you have a choice like this, Rashad White or Alec Pierce, right? And say you got like just destroyed on Thursday Night Football, right? Say, you went up against CMC and like Kendrick Bourne or some mix of the 49ers that went crazy, or Puka, whatever, right? And you're just facing like a massive deficit. I think Pierce is the play in that situation. If you're just going in on a clean slate, or if you're going into Sunday with a lead, then throw White into your lineup. Hope that helps. Dan, back in the chat, stream Jalen Tolbert. You don't really stream wide receivers, but I'll let that pass. Tolbert, Sean Tucker, Isaiah Bond. It's Tolbert. This person says, can I please ask a question? And yeah, you can. No one's stopping you. Owen Jones, start both. What? Start both Texans running backs, or start Troy Franklin over Chubb. I actually would. I would do that. I would start Franklin over Chubb. This person says, Denny looking evil in that black button up. Thank you. I think. I had an issue with this button up because the button, there's a button here and then there's a button here, right? And I didn't want to look like that. So I left it open, but not like super open. That's too open. So I'm trying to like balance it out a little bit. I don't know. I like it. I'm going to get to slot receiver matchups in just a minute. Because the folks need it. The folks are begging for it. They're at my door. They're banging down my front door. My dog's going crazy right now. They're saying, give us the slot receiver information. We need our slot matchups. They're screaming and crying and throwing up. It's unseemly. Frankly, it's a little much. I'll get to it. King Snow, Dr. Den. Tight end question, Waller or Strange for week 5? Strange is running a decent amount from the slot. Kansas City's defense hasn't been good against the slot this year at all. So it makes me think that Travis Hunter could be a thing this week. Just so you know, I would lean Strange. I know. Look, here's what Darren Waller has going for him: enormous man who will be targeted a lot in the red zone. That's not a bad role to have. Truly. Okay. Is he a guy who's going to come away with 8 targets or 10 targets? No, I don't think so. I could be wrong, but super touchdown dependent. Strange will be less so. Kevin is in the chat. How much is too much for a player like Jahmyr Gibbs? Was thinking of offering Javonte, Rashad White, and Devontae Smith for him. I think that works. I mean, you would win that trade. I would try. I'll try it. All right. This person says, greetings, Denny. Love all your work. I appreciate the nice words. I need your help with my starting tight end. Should I go with Fannin, Andrews, or Waller? It's Fannin for me. I talked about Fannin earlier. I don't want to waste too much time. Man, this person's back. Are you answering questions on Twitch? I am. Ask a question. Oh, this person's back. Sorry. Haha. I left the video and missed that. Ask a question. Oh my God. Just make it stop. PPR. Jerry's in the chat. PPR need a tight end. Need a tight end D? Oh, need a tight end. Darren Waller or Brenton Strange. Strange. Strange is the play. Let's see. JCM or Tootin. Brad, my boy. One of my good online buddies, a ball knower, Brad Beatson. I think it's JCM in a decent matchup. It's just JCM's really good, he's been especially good with Jaden Daniels in the lineup. Of course, Daniels is back. Thank goodness. Michael says Sutton, Godwin, or Harrison Jr. at the flex. All right, I would go with Godwin. I know Marvin Harrison's coming off a big game, and I want to share this. Okay. Now, this game, any game against the Titans could go completely off the rails game script wise and ruin all your best laid plans. We know that going in. And the Titans are giving up the second highest completion rate over expected on targets of more than 20 yards. That's a nerdy way of saying they're getting carved up when the opposing quarterback throws deep. If Kyler Murray has any interest in producing this week, he might want to try that once or twice to the guy who's eating up air yards in this Arizona offense, MH to the J. So it could be a good spot for him, for Harrison. Maybe more of like a DFS play than like a locked in 10 or 12 team starter, especially when you have these options. Godwin saw 10 targets last week. He's going to see 10 targets again here against Seattle. The Eagles were really fixated on stopping Godwin. Maybe that'll be different this week. Better stash, Kendre Miller or Isaiah Davis. I like Isaiah Davis has the juice. I like Isaiah Davis. And the Jets seem kind of intent on making him a thing. Kendre Miller, he's fine. I don't know if he's ever going to take on a 3-down role. And I think Isaiah Davis can in the right circumstance. So I'd probably lean Davis. God, they're both really good. No, you know what? It's got to be Miller, because if the Saints, I don't know, can the Saints trade Kamara, please? Tony Pollard or Chase Brown. Damn, that's bleak. Oh man, I don't know. If Tajay Spears is back, I guess I would lean Brown. If Tajay Spears sits this week again, you go with Pollard. Hope he accidentally gains some yards. All right, we're gonna get to the sorry, I got distracted for a second. We're gonna get to the slot receiver matchups. Wow, I wish I would have pulled this up before the show. This is basically just looking at, which slot receivers might have an underrated matchup going into week 5. I think we pinpointed a few a few good plays last week from the slot. Oh boy, I'm having trouble finding this. Targeted line. Yeah, okay. None slot. Okay, we are back. We're all the way back. My computer's working. It's working harder than ever. Okay. All right. So Steelers are giving up the highest completion rate over expected to opposing slot guys. They're not playing this week. The Bucs are giving up the second highest completion rate over expected to the slot guys. JSN is going to cook. If you're playing against JSN this week, you log out, you close your laptop or you put away your phone, and you go read a book. You take a long walk. It's over for you. It's over for you. I can't emphasize how over it is for you. Ravens giving up the third highest completion rate over expected to slot guys. That could benefit a few players, including maybe Dalton Schultz. The Commanders are giving up the fourth highest there. So Keenan Allen, maybe a little Ladd McConkey. He might not be totally useless this week. The Patriots giving up the fifth. That's what I mentioned. Khalil Shakir is a good option. The Titans giving up the sixth highest completion rate over expected to slot receivers. Greg Dortch season? Many are asking, but mostly Trey McBride season, obviously. Down to the bottom here, the Jaguars are really destroying opposing slot guys. Wow, by a huge margin. The Jaguars are giving up negative 0.14 adjusted yards per attempt to slot receivers this year. How is that possible? The Jags defense is legit. The offense is the saddest thing I've ever seen. Like a 3-1 team that actually looks like they hate each other. The coach hates the quarterback hates the coach, the receiver wants nothing to do with either of them. And somehow they're 3-1 because their defense is legit. If their offense could even be average, the Jaguars could be like a real team. Anyway, so bad slot matchup. Kelsey, maybe a little Xavier Worthy there. Dolphins are second best against the slot. So you can't play Hunter Renfrow, unfortunately. And let's see, Packers, they're not playing. Broncos are next. So that shouldn't affect A.J. Brown too much. It affects Devontae Smith a little bit. Yeah, all right. Well, there you go. We got our slot situation figured out. All right. Well, this person's finally in the chat. Listen, guys, we have about 7-8 minutes left. 6, 7. I'm sorry. My kids made me do it. 3 questions when you have the time. I do have the time. They're paying me to do this, believe it or not. What do I do with Zay Flowers? What? Broncos or Chiefs defense? Go with the Chiefs. With Chuba out, is Kendre Miller a good start? Sure. Zay Flowers, I think you're still playing him. Cooper Rush is a viable backup. He'll get it done. He probably won't, but whatever. David says, hi, Doc Denny. Full PPR, quarterback streamer, Darnold, or Bryce. 0-4, I need this win. You do need this win, brother. Darnold. I talked about Darnold earlier. I think it's a really good spot for him. Dart's also good. Bryce is no, absolutely not. By the way, if you're 0-4 going into week 5, don't give up. I'm begging you, don't give up. You know what's even better than like chainsawing your way through the regular season in fantasy? Is just climbing out of a deep, dark hole, like full of snakes and creepy crawlies. Okay? Just mud on your face. You're battered and bruised and hungry and thirsty. And you've been climbing up this mud wall for weeks and weeks and weeks. And you get to the postseason after starting 0-4. That is better than being a dominant regular season team. And listen, folks, if you're 0-4, 1-3, all you got to do is make the playoffs. In a 12-team league, that means in some leagues you have to just make the top half. You just have to get to the 6th spot and you're in. And from there, anything can happen. All right, you see it every year. Oh, like Joe, who, and sorry to Joe, obviously, but Joe, who only lost one regular season game, lost by 47 in the first round of the playoffs, because that happens in our game. And Lucy, she's a fantasy killer. Lucy, she starts 0-4, she climbs into the 6th spot, and she just starts crushing people in the playoffs and wins the championship. Congratulations to Lucy, by the way. And sorry to Joe. Sean Tucker or Jordan Mason this week. I'd still go Jordan Mason. Good morning. Yeah, it's good morning to you. Not really morning. I guess you're on the West Coast eating your fish tacos and surfing, whatever you guys do on the West Coast. Looking to trade for Javonte Williams in a 2-for-1. He lost neighbors and has no receivers. My squad is the following. I don't know what to tell you, man. I mean, bro, are you asking me to evaluate your whole roster? Okay. I mean, trade him. Wait till Devontae has a good game and then trade him, or trade Shakir after he has a good game. I don't know. I'm sorry. I can't really help with that. Shark Dub is in the chat. Trade Abuka and Charbonnet for a Dunze and Chase Brown. That's a tough one. I actually would not. I would want Abuka and Charbonnet long term. Sean says pick 2 and half PPR. Alvin, as in the chipmunk. Simone, don't know who that is. Oh, this is funny. Oh, this is a funny one. Alvin, Simon, or Theodore. Oh, I see. I was mocking you, and you were mocking me. Got me. Wow. Brutal. Sam, I have Lamar planning on being out until after the bye. Yeah. Lamar, it's over. Do I pick up Dart this week and gamble Darnold? And gamble Darnold is their other. I would just go with Darnold. I hope that answers your question. Brashard Smith, we had a good. I just want to say this real quick. I'm going to get to as many questions as I can over the next 5 minutes. David, we had a good conversation. Me and Kyle and Rotopat had a good conversation about the Chiefs' backfield headed into week 5, about Brashard Smith. We had it on the Thursday Rotoworld Football Show. You can find that anywhere podcasts are sold or on the NFL and NBC YouTube channel. All right. Yeti, PPR pick 1, Godwin, Judkins, or Wandale Robinson. It's Judkins. Hey, Doc. Two salutes. I have Justice Hill, Brashard Smith, and Sean Tucker on the bench. Good for you. Drop 1 to pick up Dowdle. Yeah, because you have Hubbard. Yeah, go ahead. Get crazy. You never know. Shamstron is in the chat. Start 1 running back and a wide receiver in half PPR. Judkins versus ETN. It's Judkins. And Devontae Smith versus Diggs. It's Diggs. Listen to me. Stefan Diggs needs to be in your lineup this week. And here's why. It's a double whammy of why you have no choice but to play Stefan Diggs in week 5. First is, he ran about 90% of the Patriots' routes before the starters were pulled in the fourth quarter of their game against the XFL Carolina Panthers last week. So his overall route rate doesn't look good, but he was out there a lot. He was targeted at a high rate. I think 26% of his targets. Might actually be 28%. There's no way to know. Anyway, he's the guy. He's back. And the vibes are good. He's playing against the Bills. And you know who Stefan Diggs hates more than the Bills? Nobody. Okay? The Bills wasted his career prime, he's mad. Stefan Diggs has never not been mad, but he's more mad than ever. Based on vibes alone, he's going to catch 10 passes in this game. So he's a better play than Devontae Smith, I would say. Clinton says, I picked up Rico Dowdle. I have Ladd McConkey. Who should I start at my flex? Super disappointed with Ladd thus far. You are not alone, Sir Clinton. It's not a great matchup against the Dolphins. The Dolphins can be had via the pass. Tet McMillan is going to go off. Is Dowdle better than McConkey? I guess, yeah, you probably have to play Dowdle over McConkey. All right. Tender Reynolds is in the chat. All right. Henderson, DeMercado, or Charbonnet over Pollard, and would you start any of those over Wandale? I'd actually start Henderson over Pollard. Yes, I would. No, and keep Wandale in there. Flowers or Shaheed? I'd still go with Flowers. Should I drop Franklin for Golden? No. Matthew, come on, man. Come on. Matthew Golden's only legit catch last week for like 40 yards was intended for Dontavian Wicks. Leave Dontavian alone, Matthew. Some of us needed that in a deeper league where we were down horrific at the flex and we played Dontavian Wicks and we said, oh, that ball's going to Wicks. And then Matthew Golden got in the way. Matthew Golden has zero awareness, zero ability to command targets. Never been good. Never will be good. Disastrous draft pick in the end for the Packers. Franklin. You keep Franklin. Billy Harris says Rattler only one pick so far. Could be the next QB stud for the Saints. Pump the brakes a little. All right. This person said Trey Tucker or Malik Washington in the third flex. You're sick. Washington. Dilemma. Should I trade Josh Jacobs, Jacoby Myers, and Kincaid for Derrick Henry, Devontae Adams, and Tucker Kraft? Yeah. Yes, you should. Is there a doctor in the house? Me. Check out the Fantasy Football Happy Hour for more on that. Any insights into the target share and ADOT of the Broncos wide receivers in true Sean Payton fashion? Seems like a different guy every week. Yeah, I mean, look, Troy Franklin's role is still pretty solid there. Marvin Mims will pop here and there. Not a thing really that you can rely on. Obviously, you can't rely on anyone outside of Cortland Sutton here, but yeah, Troy Franklin, I think, is in a pretty good spot going into this week, is what I would say. I hope that helps. This person says, so you're saying Shakir is a top 10 receiver this week? I'm not saying that at all. I appreciate you checking in on that, though. This person says, I was indoctrinated by your zero RB Bible. Sorry to get religious. And it ended up, oh no. And ended up with Ladd McConkey, T. Higgins, and Devontae Smith. Thanks again. Take some accountability for yourself. You shouldn't have drafted guys who suck. That's mean. They don't suck. They're good people. Thanks again. I have a concerning flex decision to make. Michael Carter, Troy Franklin, or T. Higgins. I don't think you can play T. Higgins. I'd go with Franklin, I suppose. All right. Oh gosh, we have to end. I'm going to try to real quick answer. Thomas says Io Maynor or Travion Henderson. Io Maynor, Stevenson or Chase Brown. Stevenson. Dowdle or White. I think Rashad White. I would go Rashad White. Jordan says trade Javonte and Pickens for Rice and Achane. I don't know, man. No, don't do that. Let's see. For my glorious flex play, Tony Pollard or Michael Carter. I go with Michael Carter. I know it sounds crazy, but I would. There were so many questions this week, guys. I'm so sorry I couldn't get to them. BTJ or Pittman. I would go with BTJ. I wrote them up in the regression files if you want to check that out. And then one last one. All right, well, yeah, AJ Brown or Tet McMillan. AJ Brown, he is the squeaky wheel, and he's going to get greased. Is that the way it goes? The squeaky wheel gets the grease, as the old timers say. I would go with AJ Brown over Tet. But man, if you can get Ted McMillan in your lineup some way, that might be good. All right, folks, I'm Denny Carter. You can find me on rotoworld.com, on the Rotoworld Football Show. Check that out. I am going to be here every Friday at 1 o'clock Eastern to answer your questions. I'm sorry if I didn't get to yours today, but thank you for joining me. And good luck to you, and only you, in Week 5.